Yeah, 모두 다 빨리 박수 쳐 기다리지 말고 서둘러 Reason that I'm back is to feed you raps I see that you up here below So fly
All right, welcome, Steve Kim. Thank you for joining me. We have a awesome topic here to discuss. We're going to have to lay some context. Dana White was on Bill Maher's Club Random podcast, and they were talking about how sports are being softened, and Dana White says that he'll never. They started talking about Damar Hamlin, and I think Bill Maher talked about how they should have continued playing the game, and Dana White says, you know, I'll never go for the PUSSIFICATION of America, the wussification, but with a P of America, and it made me think about what the NFL is doing with these extra tops they're allowing players to wear on their helmets or whatever, and so they don't go there, but I do. But let's play. This is about a 3-minute clip, and then Steve and I will come back and comment.
By the time night had fallen on this event, it was just the one true opinion that this game could not have been played, because that's the way America reacts to things. Now, I'm in the opinion that they should have played the game, because I don't think it would have hurt the person they cared about and we cared about. And they kept saying, this is such bad logic. The important thing is Damar. Absolutely. Of course it is. Of course it is. How does that affect playing the game? He's in the hospital. Mm-hmm. Unless the doctors are watching the game out of the corner of their eye while they're operating on him, I don't think it's going to affect anything. And yet, you know, this became, Skip Bayless, suggested maybe we should have played the game, and they wanted to cancel him for just entertaining an idea that 24 hours earlier was what everybody thought was going to happen. And then we all just fucking sheep got behind this idea that somehow it would be disrespectful to the guy in the hospital. By the way, he got it, because when he woke up, you know what the first thing he said was?
Did we win?
Yes. Did we win?
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
No, because you live in babyland, Damar, so nobody played the game.
Yeah, I think what happens too, though, is a lot of the players, and I see this in fighting a lot too, a lot of the players, when you see something like that happen to somebody that you're close to, and whether you're one of his teammates or you're on the opposing team, it's sort of a dope slap of reality of what's possible. Because when you go out and play a game that you've played since you were a kid, your whole life, maybe you tore your ACL or you broke a finger or something like that. When you see a guy that you think might be dead, holy shit, that it gets in the players' heads. I've seen it happen to fighters when
this is football.
They're in their locker rooms and a guy gets viciously knocked out, and you're next. You're walking out the tunnel next to go back out there.
Football prides itself on being the tough guy sport.
No, I agree.
This is the one we play rain or shine. Rain or shine.
No, rain or snow, sleet.
Right. Mud.
I agree.
I mean, I remember as a kid, and they'd be playing in the mud, and I thought, this is the greatest thing in the world. Watch them slide 20 yards in the mud.
Yep.
And it's just, smash mouth football. It's not for the faint of heart, and that's what we do. We're football. So I just thought, and also, come on, there's no crying in football.
I agree. I don't disagree with you. Listen, the last thing that I want to see is any more of the pussification of this country and the people in it. It's definitely sickening to see some of this stuff.
It's the hypocrisy also of, if they really cared that much about the safety of the players, they wouldn't have canceled the game. They'd cancel the sport. Because it is and they shouldn't, because again, this is where I'm a libertarian. First of all, watch a football game. The players are really enjoying themselves. They are loving it.
It's true.
They are making a deal, and it's a deal every adult should be free to make. I made it with drugs and liquor and lots of other stuff. I'm going to trade something in the future for having the time of my life now.
I'm shocked, not shocked. I'm entertained, pleased that because I really like Dana White, and I enjoy a lot of what Bill Maher does. I wish he would completely disavow the left and just admit it. But these types of conversations where Bill Maher is trying to bring sanity back to the left always please me, and to see Dana White co-signing please me as well. But your thoughts?
I thought it was an excellent conversation. I actually watched probably the last 45 minutes of it, starting from that segment. And to further Bill Maher's point, who really went back to his roots, he was very politically incorrect there. In terms of making football safe, it kind of reminds me of what someone said to me about making boxing safe. And they said, you want to make boxing safe? Ban it. The bottom line is, Jason, everyone goes into a certain sport or a vocation or a job knowing the risk. You knew risk playing football when you were a young kid going into Warren Central High and then Ball State. You look at most coal miners, they do a very arduous job and they realize I'm going to get black lung and I might get into an explosion. I may never see my family again. We all know the risks of what we are doing. It's not for the faint of heart, and especially with boxing. But it's the interesting thing with Bill Maher. He's a lot like Stephen A. Smith. He's planted the flag so hard of being anti-Trump, okay, which immediately means you have to be aligned with the other side of the political spectrum. But this particular administration, I don't care if you agree or disagree, has been an absolute disaster the last 4 years, that they are even now seeing, I say, a come to Jesus moment, and I know he's atheist, and he's saying to myself, oh my God, I have enough morals and ethical fiber that I cannot endorse this, but he can't alienate his base by saying, you know what? That other guy that we had wasn't so bad. Maybe we should go back to him. I think those two are very parallel, Stephen A. and Bill Maher, in that particular instance.
You could now the same argument he's making for football and like, hey, things have to go on. We know what this sport is. I wish he had that kind of ruggedness as it related to Trump and the presidency, because again, it's one of those deals where like,
You can't,
hey, look,
though.
Trump's going to say impolite things. Trump's not going to act the way we want a president to act. But at the end of the day, we just got to toughen up, stiffen our chin, and deal with it, because that's what we need at this time and in this moment. Can't do it. But I do just think it's progress. Dana White is an out of the closet, passionate Trump supporter, and for Maher to have White on the platform, treat each other respectfully, have the conversation. It's I just see more and more people moving towards like, man, we got to quit this fake social media Twitter stuff and quit pretending like we can't even speak to each other just because we disagree about a few things. That's the only path back to common sense. Last thing, though, Steve, I do want to, I want to get, and I know they weren't talking about this specifically, but they were talking about safety in football. This whole helmet thing that they're doing, and I don't know how many players will do it. Maybe only a handful of players, who knows? But all it is a big sign that says, hey, think about CTE while you're watching this football game. And literally, that's what they're signaling to fans. It's like, oh, I'm out here risking my life. I may get CTE. And, part of me thinks CTE is a gimmick and a scam. It's like climate change. But I just think it's bad optics, messaging. It's going to hurt the game even more if a handful of players are wearing that top on their helmet during games.
Well, Jason, in terms of player safety and making football less dangerous, someone tell the NFL, because I think I saw something where Goodell said it's not out of the question to add another week in the regular season. Oh, really? So we're about player safety, and every game is like being in 75 car crashes. We care about the players. We're going to add another week. Those messages are not, to me, aligned. Now, about the as Coach JB would call them, the helmet condoms. I'm not a fan. They just look funny. I'm just a viewer. Yeah, that's a JB-ism. Okay, now here's the thing. I'm looking at that. I'm just a fan. So the aesthetics, to me, matter. and I'm old school. I'm old now. You can tell by the silver streaks here. Now, look, remember the little alien in the Bugs Bunny commercials, Kazoo? I love Kazoo. Friendly alien, didn't want to eat us, didn't want to take, but Bugs Bunny and him always got in. He had that big head. And I remember Mark Kelso, former safety for the Bills, had an oversized helmet because he had issues. And I always called him Mark Kazoo. Now we're going to have a whole field of kazoos. It's not going to look right. And are they going to have the logo? I want the logos. The logos are important. But on a more serious level, Jason, I don't know if this is any safer for the players. You're still jarring the head. You're still having high impact collisions. Like, people do not understand about headgear in boxing, which you use for sparring. People think it softens the blow. It actually doesn't. Headgear is used in boxing specifically, Jason, for clashes of heads, really, and to prevent cuts. If you've ever been hit by headgear, and I have been a long time ago, let me just tell you something. You get hit square on the nose, right on the bridge of the nose or under the chin, there is still a jarring effect and you still feel it. And they'll tell you it really does not do all that much more to prevent concussive blows or concussions. I would actually like to see a little bit more medical research that tells me empirically that, hey, if Jason Whitlock is playing right tackle, he wears the helmet condom because he believes in safe football, that yes, he's better off for it. No, forget it. As a football fan, my visual pleasure matters. I want to see smaller helmets with the logos. That's just the way I am.
The TV show Looks Matter.
Sure.
Thank you.
Kazoo.
I remember
Love Kazoo.
Yeah.
He was great, man. I loved him. Way to go. My favorite alien. Mork and Mindy and Kazoo. Loved him.
Thank you, Steve. Great job as always. And I want to thank Cardio Miracle for allowing this. Support healthy blood flow and deliver more vitamins, nutrients, and minerals to your entire body. Get started now for a healthier, happier you by visiting cardiomiracle.com/fearless. Receive 10% off your first order, 15% if you choose to subscribe and save. They also offer a 60-day, no-risk, 100% money-back guarantee. Thank you for watching. That's it and that's all. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss a moment of Fearless.